Hello everybody and welcome back to Screamers. I am here in the studio with Jessie. Maya's off on her hollybobs, well deserved. And we have got loads of Champions League and FA Cup action to get into, as well as a little clarification.
A reveal of sorts.
Jessie, you're still here.
I'm still here. It's surprisingly how many of you did fall for the April Fool's post. We probably should have clarified on the day, but I'm not leaving Screamers. Apologies to anybody who was excited about the idea that I might be.
We had a lot of concerned messages and people asking us about it, so all I can say is you're all fools.
You're all fools. You've really shown yourselves up, and you need to prepare for next year because now 2 years on the trot, people have been got by the April Fools, so...
Charsenal, idiots. Jessie leaving Screamers, idiots.
What's it going to be to do with you next year? Well, should we get into some football?
Let's.
Already seems like forever ago, but we now know who is going to be in the Champions League semi-finals. We've schlepped our way down to Stamford Bridge to watch one of the quarter-final leg twos.
We did indeed. Yeah, had a lovely time at the Fox and Pheasant beforehand, which I enjoyed. It was like a little country pub.
I was arriving at the pub at the same time that the Arsenal fan walk was arriving at the stadium, and they were having a lot of fun chanting, but then Basil was at the front and just having a real... It was like the kind of... It would feel quite aggy if it was a men's game, but this was just quite good fun. There was a lot of chanting back and forth. We'll say... Basil shouldn't be allowed as loud as a crowd of 200 of you guys, so you need to be stepping that up a little bit. But I did enjoy. I've never seen Basil at the European Cup as a as a chant.
I would have loved to have seen that.
It was the really weird energy from the game though. Chelsea, I don't know. Chelsea kind of didn't look like they were performing at their best selves, but also didn't really look arsed at points.
Yeah, it was really strange. I did think at the beginning it was really similar to the previous leg in that Chelsea's early chances were really high quality, and the fact that they didn't score any of those, it just felt immediately like it wasn't their day and the goals weren't going to go in. And then they had a bit of a slump, and I thought Arsenal just looked so comfortable throughout that I never really believed that Chelsea could get out of it, even when they did have more chances later on in the game, like that Sam Kerr chance. You just think Sam Kerr a couple of years ago was finishing that.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy chance
but it is one she would have put away.
But it's one that she would have put away, and it was a good save from Van Domselaar, to be fair. And then the Arsenal goal that was ruled off for offside, Stina doing what she does.
Yep.
That would have killed it for sure. But that definitely gave life to the Chelsea fans and players. And then from then on, we saw the momentum swing a bit more in Chelsea's favour again, and they were just pushing and pushing and pushing. And at this point, Arsenal had, for the most part, retreated.
Yeah. It seemed like Arsenal's plan was to soak up as much pressure as possible for 60, 70 minutes and then try and kill it off, which is what that Cena goal was. But then, I think the offside of it all, I will say Maya celebrated it thoroughly, and so we'll sort of bank that. I'm pretty sure someone got it on camera. I thought she was going to end up on the pitch at one point, leaning so far over the safe standing. In terms of Chelsea's bright spots, obviously Lauren James, I think, has been the highlight across the two legs for them, but I thought Berman was fantastic. I think Berman just is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get on to her in the FA Cup as well, but she has just proved herself over and over again this season. She's been so calm at the back, really, really composed. She can go forward, she can play centre-back, she can play left-back. She can kind of do it all, and she's just, really impressive for such a young player.
And Nuskin as well, which is quite funny considering she was so out of sort of selection at the start of the season and has now come clutch in so many games recently.
Exactly, it was crazy. And then Berman obviously having that chance and just kind of hitting the post / Van Domselaar gets onto it somehow. And the Nuskin goal at the end of the game, such a beautiful goal, and the atmosphere just lifted so much, but it was just so ironic, and it just spoke about Chelsea's Champions League campaign in one goal, that it's okay, you've been so close this whole time in both games, fighting, obviously looking back to the first leg and the disallowed goal that shouldn't have been disallowed, and then it just feels like in every single part of the games, it's been so close. And the teams have been fairly equal, I'd say, in a lot of respects.
Yeah.
And then just to get that back right at the end and give everyone a little bit of hope, it was, yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, I would say sitting with the Arsenal fans, it wasn't hope that they were all feeling. It was hope is definitely not the word. It's kind of, I mean, another game not without refereeing discourse, which we'll get onto in a minute. But I don't think that would have been the game-changing one. I do think, looking back, if they'd gone into that game 3-2, that Nuskin goal makes it 3-3, then it gets a bit tasty. At that point, I think Chelsea probably do come out on top.
Yeah, I think going to extra time, dragging things out, that's very much Chelsea's, like,
bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly. That's their game. They know how to see out a game and score a late winner.
I think they probably enrage people even more about that Berman goal. Not that Sonia needed any help losing her head, because where we were sat up behind one of the goals. We were in the shed end and just saw something happen between Alyssa Thompson and Katie McCabe. Not really sure what. Didn't see much in it from our angle, because it was quite far down the pitch from us. And then saw Sonia lose her absolute mind. Seemed to try and grab the ball when it was on the pitch. We're like, what the hell is happening? Thinking, oh, that's a bit funny. She's lost her head. And then saw the clips afterwards. You're like, okay, a little bit more understandable that she was so angry.
Yeah.
Like, it'd become an absolute... I had people who don't watch women's football asking me what I thought about it because they'd seen it. Like, it had sort of broken containment and gone out of the container of women's football the next day. I don't really know what the point of VAR is if it's not to pick up things like that.
It's just shocking, like 2 weeks in a row, what I would say are clear refereeing errors have not been corrected or picked up on by VAR.
Yeah.
And understandably, Bompastor is fuming. Pretty heavy stuff as well. Like a hair pull, as Sonia said in the press conference afterwards, when asked about it by a conveniently bald journalist. She said,
so funny.
It hurts to have your hair pulled while you're playing football. Have you ever experienced that? And that just really made me laugh. But yeah, it's true. It hurts and it's dangerous. And like, whether it was on purpose or not, I'm sure McCabe isn't stupid enough to pull someone's hair on purpose. Like, yeah, she's obviously trying to grab her shirt.
Which I would argue, grabbing a shirt by the scruff of the neck is also not great, but understandable. No. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's pretty obviously there was no intent to it, but you also, red cards don't really factor in intent in that way. Like, you can't start considering that, otherwise no decision will ever get made. Like,
it doesn't matter at all. Like, did she mean it, did she not? It doesn't matter. She pulled her hair. That's painful, that's dangerous, that's very much against the rules, and that's certainly a red card offence.
Yeah, and instead Sonia got one and then gave us a monumental, a new meme to add to the women's football canon of just bringing her phone out and showing the clips on Twitter in the press conference, which, I mean, if there's one thing she is, it's bloody entertaining. I'll give you that.
She is box office.
she's mad. She's absolutely mad. That is Arsenal going through, and they will face Lyon in the semi-final. Unsurprisingly, they did overcome that 1-0 deficit to Wolfsburg.
Yeah, I mean, we always thought Wolfsburg wouldn't be able to hang on to that with the quality of that Lyon team. And yeah, 4-0 win's pretty comprehensive to do it as well. So yeah, Arsenal-Lyon is an interesting semi-final. Obviously, we've seen them matched up last season in the Champions League and then already this season in the league phase. So it will be interesting to see how this two-legged fixture goes.
Yeah, I feel, not that I would say I felt confident for Arsenal going into the knockouts last year, but I feel less confident this season because I do think they've just added a little bit this season. I think, like, whether that's the Jonathan Heraldez of it all, I don't know what, something, there's just like an added element to Lyon that they feel a bit of a scarier prospect.
I think so as well. Yeah, they certainly look scarier.
But a much better draw for Arsenal than Barcelona, who ran riot doesn't even seem to like capture it. It was kind of, you know, if you're watching like a David Attenborough show and there's like footage of like a pack of like, I don't know, leopards or whatever, and they're hunting down a wildebeest that's just been separated from the pack, and they toy with it a little bit and then they rip it to shreds. It's like, that is what this Barcelona quarterfinal against Real Madrid was like. They just tore Real Madrid to shreds.
It's so beyond brutal, and like they just love destroying Real Madrid.
Yeah.
And especially for this game, which was Alexia's 500th game for Barcelona, which is just insane.
Yeah.
Of course, she had to start off the scoring. But yeah, it's just so severely embarrassing for Real Madrid.
I do kind of think it's also a bit... Not embarrassing for La Liga, but, you know, the Clásico is such an iconic fixture in men's football, and it is just a real shame that it doesn't match up really at all in the women's side of it. Because I think if you had those two teams that really going blow for blow season after season, I think it would do a lot to bring eyes to that league, which would then billow out and I think bring more eyes to the league in general, not just those two teams. But it's just such a one-sided affair. Apart from that, like one random Real win last season or the season before.
I know, that was exciting, but it ultimately is meaningless when you get battered by them like however many times a season. The state of Liga FA is not entertaining. I'm sure the Barcelona fans were having a great time at the new Camp Nou, but is it exciting? Yeah, you cheer every time your team scores 6 goals against your rivals, but is it even a proper rivalry when they just can't bring any kind of fight?
Yeah. I don't know. Chelsea fans seem to enjoy it when they won the league year after year after year. So I'd say you probably don't mind. And they are going to go up against Bayern Munich, who did manage to overcome United at home, sadly.
I know. I was finding that a bit sad. I got really excited when United equalised quite early on aggregate. And then Bayern did their Bayern things and finished it off.
I think United will probably kick themselves because I think they were the better team in the first half and they had the defence for Bayern kind of looked a little bit out of sorts, and it was really only Mamutovic that was keeping them in it, and I think they'll probably look back on that and be like, oh God, if we were just a little bit more clinical, that could have been our tie.
Yeah, an opportunity not taken. But to get this far into the Champions League in their first real go at it, it's really, really impressive.
Yeah, now they've just got to try and stake their claim for that third spot this season. Who are you calling then? Arsenal versus Lyon and Barcelona versus Bayern. Who are you calling?
I will back Arsenal. Yeah. As I have so far this season. Still going for my prediction for Arsenal to win the Champions League, which it seemed absurd at the start. Still feels pretty difficult to reach, but I'll stand by that. And then I think, judging from Barcelona's performance against Bayern in the league stage, in which they absolutely battered them in the first game of the league, I might have to say Barcelona are the favourites for this.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, but you never know what Bayern could bring out. They didn't do anything much to impress me against United, so I think it is Barcelona's, but who knows?
Yeah, I think this might be the end of the road for Arsenal. I know that won't make me very popular, but I do think Lyon just they're just so stacked, I think is the difficulty of when you've got that many quality players that you can throw on if a tie's not going your way, which again is not significantly different from last season, and Arsenal did prevail then, but they do just feel like they're operating on a bit of a 5% more. And I think with the sort of fixture congestion, because Arsenal also can't really afford to throw the league games that they've got coming up because they do need to lock down the Champions League spots. They might be helped by not having one extra match to play in the FA Cup, which we'll come on to, but I think they might just be a bit overstretched at that point. So I think it's going to go to Lyon. And then, Barcelona are just going to absolutely tear through Bayern Munich. There's nothing there. That's done and dusted. Sorry, Bayern, that's it. End of the road for Georgia Stanway, that's it. There's no trophy. There's no glorious end. The
rest of Arsenal season will be slightly less congested as they were brutally knocked out of the FA Cup by Brighton with 2-0.
Frank Kirby remains Chelsea's strongest secret agent, knocking out Arsenal with 2 assists.
That's a godsend for Chelsea. So they all need to be thanking her.
Yeah.
I know she was at the game today doing punditry.
Very unbiased punditry, I'm sure.
Very unbiased. So I hope all the players gathered around and thanked her for her 2 assists.
My girlfriend had a theory that Arsenal were not throwing it, but were maybe fine with not winning it to aid the fixture congestion. I just think Arsenal won clubbed way too close to the sun because the men went out the day before of the FA Cup as well.
Yeah. I don't think it's an FA Cup season for that club, is it?
No.
I see Lucy's theory, but obviously it's different with the players and the coaches maybe thinking that. And then we have fans like Maya, who all she really wanted this season was to win the FA Cup.
This is true.
So I imagine this is going to be brutally disappointing for her, and we'll have to hear her thoughts.
Well, she's already sent us some of her thoughts that rewriting had the take already, that she did want to win the FA Cup, but she has texted us to say, one note from me, last season we lost to Brighton 4-2 at the end of the season, and then we won the Champions League final after that. So
what does that mean?
So she's reading the tea leaves. Whether that's right or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's just been a bit of a mad run of games for Arsenal. They've had a lot of games back to back. I'm not really surprised that this was a stumbling block for them. I don't think when the Champions League is still on the table, like that is the one I think they're probably going for as a club, but it is a bit of a shame. However, I'm quite glad that there was a team making it through to the semi-finals that I feel Liverpool might have a chance against.
I think you really need to cross your fingers for the draw.
Well, the draw is happening as we're recording, so we'll talk through the quarters and then we'll see the results of the draw. Ooh. But yeah, I was down at the Valley for Charlton versus Liverpool. First off, lovely stadium. It was really nice. It was in the sunshine. It was brilliant, blue skies. It would have been nice if the game wasn't so deeply frustrating. It would have been nice to match the nice weather. Because Charlton didn't sit and defend deep. They weren't really gunning on the counter-attack. They didn't really offer much, and yet we were horrendous. Horrendous. Wow. And couldn't break them down for about 115 minutes.
It is just crazy.
Yeah.
Like the momentum that Liverpool had and to not be able to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Throughout extra time as well.
Oh, it was so frustrating. It looked like watching us in November, before it was all clicking. And I think we had changed the lineup a little bit, and I'm not sure that any of the people brought in to start will stake their claim for a starting position, particularly Lily Woodham, who didn't really offer much in the attacking sense and was getting so many misplaced passes. It's like, girl, come on. You've got to offer more, because when I think that collectively, all of the away fans, when Bernabeu came on, sort of breathed a little bit of a sigh of relief. It was kind of, we were determined to hold on to the ball and build, which I know is our game plan, that possession and build, but it was kind of like there was so much there to go at Charlton with. Like when Mia Enderby was running at them, we were always sort of getting through, but the problem was that she was only running at them 2 times out of 10. And it's like, no, come on. We just looked a bit weak in midfield. We looked a little bit not with it, but we hung in there and we got it done. We got it done in the most spectacular way, kind of a messy way, but also spectacular. Zara Shaw, first goal in something like 400 days, first match back in over a year after her second ACL. What a moment.
That is just beautiful. That goal is pure FA Cup.
Oh yeah. In that it's awful and yet brilliant and yet never needs to be watched again. Hit the post twice, I think. Every single player on the Liverpool team touched the ball in the box at one point. It was absolutely mad. But yeah, I'm thrilled we got through. I have figured out what my new good luck charm is though for Liverpool in the FA Cup. Against London Bees, it was Martha Thomas's first game for Liverpool, her first goal. I was sat in front of her entire family. I was then telling this story to the people I sat with yesterday. At which point the two in front turned around and said, whose parents was it that you were sat in front of? And it was Martha Thomas's parents again. So Martha Thomas's parents, if you're listening, can you tell me what seats you are going to get for the semi-final? Because I would like to be the row behind you, please, and thank you.
Wow, I love that little link up.
Yeah, I now need to go and watch it with them wherever they go.
I love that quite near the start of the season, or maybe it was before Christmas when things had been going wrong. You said that what you wanted to redeem the poor start to the season was a good cup run, and that is what we're getting.
We're getting a good cup run. I can almost see Wembley. I can almost see it.
It's so close.
It's so close. But 2 semi-finals in 2 years in the FA Cup, I will take that. That is very good. On the evidence of today, I wouldn't mind facing, even if they did prevail, Chelsea, because they didn't particularly look convincing for a large part of that game.
I think they just looked so knackered, and the players spoke about that after the game as well, just how it is to be playing every 3 days for weeks at a time. Tottenham, I thought, were good. Definitely started well, and they were really decent, but just not good enough, and they could have got something from that game, but Chelsea did their Chelsea thing and hung on and made it through. The amount of blocks Spurs were making was just like constant. And it was kind of like watching Spurs Chelsea earlier on in the season where Spurs are just defending for their lives. But in the first league game, they were just defending, never made out their box.
Yep.
In the second league game, they were defending, had some good chances, nearly scored. And then in this game, they were like one step further. So it's like, I don't know if that speaks a bit to Chelsea's tiredness or Spurs' progress or, you know, there's like stuff happening.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough. First Chelsea goal, it's like Keira Walsh is just being marked relentlessly by Beth England for the whole game, which is like, yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not a bad tactic.
Yeah.
But then she manages to push out really wide to the byline and put that cross in for Sam Kerr, who does what Sam Kerr does and heads it in.
She'd been making those runs like the entire half to that point as well, and they'd done a fairly good job of spotting it and keeping her out. And I think it just looked like they misjudged the flight of the ball, really, more than anything else. You just can't leave Sam Kerr in a position like that to do it, because she probably will score.
Yeah, that's the problem. At the other end of the pitch, I thought Niamh Charles was looking good as well. She made some really important interventions, stopping go opposite, stopping England when they had some really good chances. So good to see her back in good form.
Yeah.
Is this her putting herself in the shop window, ready for the summer?
Oh, the arc. Oh, who knows? I mean, I thought she was definitely going to the UWCL, but who knows where she might end up. If she does indeed go, I'm sure, just put her out there. Yeah, I thought she looked really good. I thought, once again, Birmingham was just, even before the wonder strike to win the game, for such a young player, not even 20 years old, the way she reads the game is just fantastic. And you never worry about her really like in possession or just doing making those kind of errors that you often see from young defenders. They'll try and rush something, or they'll fly into tackles too quickly. She just never seems to make any of those mistakes.
I think it's partly the Dutchness of her. Like, she's very sensible, and I really enjoyed her post-match as well. Obviously, hearing her talk after scoring that banger, she was like, yes, well, I looked up and I saw Vika was blocking the opposition really well. So I just thought, I'm going to hit this like a rocket. I was like, yeah, fair play. She's so Dutch.
So Dutch. And also like a little bit of a Lucy Bronze regen in that kind of way. And like, just like, no, it was there. So I just thought, why not?
Yeah, I thought that was very Bronzian.
Yeah, it was really good. And it was kind of, I again, sort of like with Man United in against Bayern in the Champions League, there was a period of about 10 minutes in the second half where Spurs were really on top.
Yeah.
And I said at the time, I was like, they need to score from this, because if they don't, Chelsea are going to win this game. And they came so close a couple of times, and then...
so tough. Yeah. I mean, the equaliser as well was great from Sumanen and appalling from Hampton, who has been on just such a bad run.
Yeah.
Like, her shot stopping, her distribution, she's doing a bit of the Zinsberger thing and just stopping in her tracks and not going for stuff and leaving stuff she thinks is going out. And it's like, what has happened? I don't know if it's just a confidence thing, a tiredness thing. She obviously had a massive summer in terms of attention, and then following that, all the Mary Earp stuff. But she's not looking her best at the moment.
I think a big summer break will do her wonders. I think you can always tell when Hannah Hampton's going through a little bit of a crisis of confidence, because those balls just start getting kicked straight out from goal kicks, and you're like, oh, you're not operating at your top speed, are you? And it doesn't help then when you do that and you have then a stand behind you going, way, every time you put one out of play.
Yeah.
I will say the sun probably didn't also help, because they all looked sunburnt.
Yeah, it was hot.
Even Martin Ho at the end, like, his face was basically bright red. I was like, oh, this is not good. But we don't know who yet is making it through as the fourth team, because Birmingham vs Man City has just kicked off as we're recording this, but the draw has taken place.
Oh, I'm excited.
You're
Tell
excited.
me.
So,
big reveal.
The winner of Birmingham or Man City will play Chelsea.
Yes.
Chelsea at home. And then Liverpool have drawn Brighton at home.
Love that. That is brilliant. So either Liverpool or Brighton will be in the FA Cup final.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
It's very exciting personally because I was like, oh my God, that's the one fixture we might have a chance in, pending a Birmingham upset. But yeah, I just think it's great for the FA Cup to have more different teams in the final again.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great draw. Exactly what I was hoping for. And if it does end up being Man City, Chelsea-Man City, it's going to be a really exciting semi-final as well. If Birmingham manage to do something, even better.
Yeah, we're all blues that day. Chelsea kind of need... This is all they're really going for in terms of a last trophy now of the season.
Yeah.
City, kind of the same, because they've got the league sort of locked up. So why not go for the FA Cup double?
Exciting stuff.
And speaking of Birmingham,
they've now shot to the top of the WSL2 with a midweek win. What's going on at Charlton? Because aside from their narrow loss to Liverpool in the FA Cup, they have been on a pretty poor run of form in the league, having lost 3 out of 4 of their last league games after being unbeaten all calendar year in the league.
They've run out of steam at just the wrong time, haven't they?
Just the wrong time when all of the teams around them are looking really, really strong. So Birmingham have been looking fantastic all season. They strengthened a lot in January as well. They spent a lot of money. Palace have been looking good. Newcastle have been looking good. Bristol up and down. But now it seems, I'm not sure that Charlton will be able to nick that top spot back off Birmingham.
It does feel like, it will take a big shake-up, like a last-ditch, come on, let's do it. And I think they're playing each other on the last day of the season.
They are indeed.
That'll be a chance to sort of banish some demons for Birmingham, who played LCL on the last day of the season when the title was up for grabs. So that could potentially be it. But I think with Newcastle's draw, they're both guaranteed at least playoff spot.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess it'll be a little bit different from the LCL one in that first and second will both be promoted automatically.
Yeah.
However, a trophy is always nice.
It's always nice, that's for sure. I think it's time for another round of Screamers of the Week. Only 2 this week up for grabs. Maya has not sent one from afar, but that's good because it's not been a glut of Screamers. So what are you picking on her?
That's very kind of you to let me go first because I'm sure we're going to be scrapping over the same goal as mentioned earlier. But first, I want to shout out a nearly screamer from none other than Ann-Katrin Berger, who's, if you haven't seen this, you have to take a look. But her shot on goal against Kansas City Current.
Yeah.
Oof. That was, the keeper had to make a decent save as well. I imagine it was the final seconds of the game and she just thwacked it. And it could have been the most iconic screamer ever. A goalkeeper screamer.
I think we'd have had to just cancel the competition for the rest of the season after that.
Yeah. But unfortunately, didn't go in. However, moved me deeply. But on to my Screamer of the Week. It's got to be the icon, 19-year-old superstar defender, Vela Berman, smashing it, hitting it like a rocket, as she said. Left foot, top bins. What's not to love?
Just the moment it left her foot, you knew it was going in. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Exactly. And Sonia said the same as well, that she was like, I could just see it was going in immediately. And that's what it was.
That's what, great goal. There's not really much point in me offering an alternative here. But what should I go for? The Linda Dahlman goal that won it for Bayern was quite a rocket. I think to hit it so cleanly in such a mad penalty box and just the sort of the story of, it being the goal to take you through to the next stage is always adds a bit of spice. Zara Shaw's goal it was not a screamer by any stretch of the imagination, but the story is screamer worthy. But I think I'll have to go for actually a goal from the same game. It's going to have to be Summerham's free kick because it was just, should Hannah have saved it? Yeah, probably. Does it stop it from being a great goal? Absolutely not. It was fantastic. The way it just, like from a real distance as well, really just went looped the whole way in. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go for. We'll put the clips of that and of Ann-Katrin Berger's goal up on Instagram for you to take a look at, and then you'll be able to vote on Instagram and Spotify for your Screamer of the Week.
So, Sarina Wiegman's squad for the England team ahead of the next couple of World Cup qualifiers next week has been announced. So next Tuesday, we've got Spain at Wembley. Very exciting. And then Iceland away on the Saturday. But this squad, I mean, there's certainly some unexpected faces.
Who is this person impersonating Sarina Wiegman? Making calls of 17-year-olds up to the squad. What? Who is she? All right? Do we need to check on her?
It's just so out of character.
It's so out of character, but I love it.
I love it as well. I wonder if we're shocked about Sarina making this choice because it's so unlike her, or if this really speaks to Erica Meg Parkinson's talents and her maturity, because she's obviously done a lot in the Portuguese league, in the youth levels, to go up not only like from her age groups, under 19s, under 23s, to then be called up to the senior England squad at 17 years old.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy achievement.
It does already feel like we're seeing the start of a new wonder kid finisher cycle coming to the fore, isn't it? We had obviously Michelle Adjuman at the Euros, and now is this the Erica Meg Parkinson train? It's so exciting. It's also so interesting because she has had this rapid rise through the youth levels. I think she only got called up to the 23s for the first time in like the last window or the window before. It's pretty quick, but she's never she's never been based in England as well, which I think is just a really cool story and a very different sort of route into the pathway. She's been playing in Portugal at Valadares Gaia. I think like 15 appearances this season. So to be playing that much first team football as a 17-year-old is incredible in and of itself. I'm really excited to see her, and I reckon there's probably a bunch of WSL teams already thinking, oh, okay, all right, maybe you might be in our shop window this summer.
It's really exciting to see.
And it's interesting that there was a couple of changes from previous like first time call-ups. Poppy Pattinson didn't make this squad after she did last window.
I guess that's with players coming back from injury. It seems like Sarina has seen enough. Really good to see my fave young midfielders, Laura Blinkilder-Brown and Lucia Kendall, back in the mix. Obviously, they're really exciting, and it's nice to see some options in midfield.
And Grace Clinton as well. The move continues to not work out for poor old Grace.
It's really tough because she's obviously such a quality player, but the way City are performing right now, they just don't need her. And with the bad luck she's had with injuries as well.
Yeah, it's really like a tale of two transfers, isn't it, her and Jess Park? Because it doesn't feel... There was a period maybe like 18 months ago where Jess Park made England squad, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you definitely deserve to be in there. I wonder if this time you'll show me enough to be like, there's no question marks around you being on the team sheet anymore. But now it's like, oh yeah, Jess Park's in, obviously Jess Park's in. She's just joined that sort of rank of players, which I think Laura Blinkilder-Brown is moving into that category. I know she probably is for you because you are again champion of the fan club, but I think she just puts in these really composed performances like game after game for City. Be nice to see her get more time to do that for England.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing hopefully more of these players in the next break. I imagine against Spain we'll play it pretty safe and just try and play the strongest team possible and cling on. But yeah, against Iceland there might be more room for experimentation. Next week we can have a proper preview of that ahead of the games.
And who knows, the squad might have changed by then already. I'm sure there'll be some injury withdrawals. If not, maybe Grace Fisk will sneak back into the squad if Leah Williamson has to drop out. And before we go, let's have another check-in on the Woso Community Noticeboard. Have you got anything to add, Honor?
Well, there was the news this week that Nils Nielsen has been let go from Japan after winning the Asian Cup just a few weeks ago. Yeah, some really kind of crazy quotes coming out of the Japanese Federation.
Yeah, really, really bizarre.
Like, okay, I don't know how totally trustworthy they are, the translations and stuff. I think it was the South China Morning Post that released some quotes from the JFA president and the women's national team director, who basically just said that he was too lax and too soft, not rigorous enough. His character was too gentle and he wasn't tough enough to win a major global title.
After just winning a major global title.
Yeah.
It's quite insane.
I guess it is one thing to win the Asian Cup where the quality of the opposition is going to be nowhere near as high as a World Cup. But still, it's quite an achievement. And I think looking at the way Japan are playing now, obviously in the 2023 World Cup, they were really, really impressive. But they seem to be really strong, really organised and playing much better for me than they had been before.
Yeah.
So I just think it's quite mad.
It is strange. They don't seem to be going all through sort of one or two players, like relying on one or two players to be like the match winners in the same way that I think maybe they did at points at the World Cup. They've always had a strong squad. I'd heard rumours on the grapevine that maybe I think a lot of the game management was being left sort of in-game decisions by players. I think the game plans were maybe a bit looser than maybe other coaches put to, but not to the extent that I think you can say he's too lax and not right to win a major title. It seems a bit bizarre, especially as the players just looked like they were playing with real, I don't know, joy, which I think is quite nice to see as well. But we've been robbed of more mad Niels Nielsen press conferences.
I know.
Hopefully he pitches up somewhere soon and starts telling us more insane comparisons between what was the first one, asking a fly to compare the difference between a daisy and shit.
Yeah, it was the bee.
That was it.
Telling a bee and honey and fly and shit.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it was great.
Yeah, it was poetry. It was poetry. We need him to immediately secure a new job.
Have you got anything for the board?
Shout out to Wrexham women who have, by winning the Adrian Premier, going to be in the Champions League qualifiers next season.
That's very exciting. It's their first time winning the Adrian Premier, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Huge.
Wrexham sides making big steps all around.
I've never watched past the first episode of Welcome to Wrexham, but who knows? Maybe that'll be a big storyline next season.
Yeah, I think I watched about 2 episodes. If they do put the women's team into it, I might be more interested, but yeah, not really my vibe.
Not for me. And then there was also a really lovely article in The Athletic, I think it was Megan Feringa, about Beata Olsen, and just a lovely, really lovely piece with her and sort of the support system she's built around herself throughout her career, and this the work she does with a psychologist that she's been working with basically her entire career, and when her injury came earlier in the season and like having to pick herself up from those lows. But there was a really lovely bit of when she got her first call up to the Swedish national team after basically being on fire at Liverpool, and was on the bus sat next to Cornelia Capox, who was also in the Swedish national team and obviously could understand what was being said on the phone call, and was just sort of mouthing around the bus being like, she's been called up. And she said it was one of the loveliest days she's ever had. And I was like, oh my God.
That's so sweet.
These are lovely, lovely girls. And I'm really, really enamoured with Beata Olsen. And I hope she stays for a very long time. One other thing I saw was ESPN, they do this thing sort of every season of like the 21 players under the 21 to look out for.
Oh.
Always quite exciting to see who's on the list. It's always very Europe and NWSL fixated, not really much coming through from around the world. A couple of names that we all know in there, but I just have to query some of the ranking. So I'm gonna read you from 1 through to 10, and you can just tell me what you think of the order of some of these players. So 1, Vicky Lopez.
Sure.
Yeah, makes sense. Number 2, Linda Caicedo. Again,
Yeah,
makes
sure.
sense. Number 3, Alyssa Thompson.
Yeah, sure.
Momoka Tanikawa, number 4.
Yeah, fantastic player.
Sinya Galpset, number 5.
Great young player.
Manaka Matsukubo at number 6.
Okay.
Felicia Schroeder, number 7.
Okay.
And then we get to Lily Johannes at number 8. And I'm like, how have we got a state of affairs where Lily Johannes is only just sort of in the top 10?
That is crazy.
Like, I'm not really sure what the criteria is for this list, if it's like potential or, I mean, I would argue, and I love Sinya Galpset, but I would argue Lily Johannes probably should be higher on that list than Sinya Galpset.
Yeah, even in terms of experience, obviously Sinya Galpset has just made the step over to WSL, and she is definitely becoming an amazing player. But the levels we've seen from Lily Johannes for a bit longer than that in the Champions League especially, it's just a bit of a different ball game.
Yeah, it was quite surprising. Yeah, it's like I think all of these players, should be in this list. I'm just not sure of the configuration. Berman 14th, Olivia Smith 15th, Dragoni 16th, who I keep forgetting that she is still so young.
That's crazy.
And has just been perpetually on loan at Roma. I'm not sure she will ever actually make it back to Barcelona, who knows. But yeah, I don't know. It was quite interesting because watching the game today, I thought Sinja Galpse she's not quite like hit the form that really excited us at the Euros.
No, but I believe that she will get there.
I think she'll definitely get there, but it just made me laugh to see Liliana so far down that list.
That's all for Screamers this week, but come back next week when we will know who comes out on top between Man City and Birmingham City, and we'll be digging into the international break, which will be just beginning. But until then,
follow us across Instagram, TikTok and YouTube at @screamers_pod, or drop us an email at screamerspod@gmail.com.
And please follow, rate and review us wherever you're listening so we can reach more women's football fans. Bye.